What makes a shop? Is it the people or the product? Or is it the story behind it that makes it special? For me, the Natural Gallery Rock Shop was a beautiful store presenting all different things from the earth and literally being a diamond in the rut, where I had the very unique opportunity to interview Donald Slater, who is a very talented geologist and chemist and owner of the Gallery Rock Shop.
Look at that. This is exactly how it comes out of the ground. This is why I fell in love with rock. This is the old-fashioned rock shops that I used to go to when I was growing up, where gems, minerals, crystals. I have everything from people who are avid collectors to beginning collectors. A lot of people buy stuff like these decorator agate slabs I have here and stuff for just to decorate their house. That's the big thing now. Well, it has been quite a while. It's just decorating your house with minerals and crystals. But I always loved, I'm an old Star Trek fan, and I remember Star Trek Next Generation. Jean-Luc always had fossils and minerals in his ready room, which I thought was great. But I just have always loved rock, so I started this after I got laid off from my work for the oil companies. And so I'd been selling rocks on the side, so I started selling, decided to go ahead and open up a shop and start selling. And so I have a little bit of everything. And I also a little bit of jewelry, a little bit of also custom lapidary. So I do a little bit of everything.
And his love for rocks didn't just start from a late age. It actually started from his youth, where he fell in love and became passionate.
Up in Orange Grove, which is nothing but dirt. We have no rocks at all. The only rock is out on the railroad track, and that was it. My third grade teacher, though, she traveled in the summertime. She and her husband would go travel around, and she picked up rocks and crystals. And one of the things that she was teaching was earth science, and she brought in quartz crystals and other crystals. But I remember the quartz crystals most because she had some nice big crystals, and they were absolutely these perfect, clear, perfect shape, geometric crystals, and these came out of the ground. This is the way they came out of the ground. And that to me was fascinating. I'd always been a science nerd. I fell in love with chemistry in the second grade, so I had a little chemistry set. And then in the third grade, when she showed us crystals, I became fascinated by crystals because, like I said, something this perfect coming out of the ground, no one cut, polished, shaped it or anything. And that was fascinated me to the point where I decided I'll start studying rock. So then my parents were always kind of encouraged me in my science. And so they bought me a mineralogy set, which was, it had a little chemistry set involved with it and we would, collect rocks. So mostly since I never traveled, my father didn't want to ever go anywhere. He liked just working around the house, and we had a hog farm. And so my grandparents, they would travel and buy me little rock kits. Most of the time they were little junky things. And I had friends that would bring rocks that their parents had picked up or somewhere. So I had my little rock collection, and I studied them, just things I could get my hands on. So that's what I really got started. And when I got into college, though, I started to be able to get out and go rock collecting, and got to travel around a little bit around Texas. So met other friends that also did it. I started out majoring in chemistry because I also, like I said, I always loved chemistry. But I was starting to take geology classes. I was going to do a minor in geology. But I decided to heck with this, so I have 2 degrees. So I've got a geology degree and a chemistry degree. So they go together because chemistry, the reason rocks are the shape and all their properties are because of the chemistry. So they went together quite well. So then I went into geochemistry and I finished up, went to work for after my chemistry degree. I was kind of running out of money, and so I didn't quite finish with geology degree at first. So then I went down South Texas in Hebbronville and worked in uranium solution mining business for several years. Earned a bunch of money. There's nothing to do down there but work, because we worked long days. And then I decided to go back and finish off my geology degree, which only 2 more classes. So then I ended up with a bachelor's in chemistry as well, in geology as well. So I worked for oil industries for quite a few years as a geochemist, core analysis and various things. And after they laid us all off, I decided to go start selling rocks. Cracked it open to see it. This is the mineral celestite. Yeah, celestite's beautiful. The color is great. course, I do cut and polish things. I didn't make these bookends, but I do make bookends and stuff like this from time to time.
Donald doesn't just sell rocks, but he makes a connection with the community around him by going to schools, shows, and getting other people into the hobby of rocks. Yet also, he hopes that everybody finds something that they're passionate about and build a life around it.
Tell people, like I've done talks at schools, I say, find something you really love doing, because if you find something you really love doing, it's not work. It's an experience, you know. It's like, even as I was a geochemist, I was doing the two things I really love: analyzing rocks and working in a laboratory. And then so it's not work. It's like my wife says here, she says, I say I'm going to work. She says, you're going to play. No, yes, I am playing, but I'm also working. But I love every minute of it. You know, people always ask me, when do you plan to retire? I have no intention to ever retire. I'm having too much fun, you know. So I suggest anybody who, you know, when they're growing up, find something you really love to do and figure out a way to make that your profession or your job or your whatever, you know, because it doesn't pay to do something you hate doing just because it makes money. It's not going to work.